Okay, I admit it. I am a terrible person. I judge people based on the color that my messages to them show up on my iPhone. I'm awful. But I'm not the only one. And I know that a lot of you out there actually have little biases like this that you may or may not even be aware of. So let me paint this out for you. Way back in the day, it used to be that all text messages that iPhone sent were the same color. So regardless of who the recipient was, I think they were all, your messages to someone else were always green and the messages back to you were always gray. And then Apple introduced iMessage, and they wanted to give you an indication that you were talking to somebody else via iMessage. And so what they did was they changed the green text from you to now become blue. So now you knew that you were talking to someone using the iMessage platform. And at the time, Apple said, oh, we're gonna open this up to the whole world. So there was always this possibility that you could be talking to someone else on an Android phone. But that never happened. And all of a sudden, Apple had a colorful reminder that the person you were talking to was using an iPhone, just like you are. Fast forward a few years, and I have a lot of experiences with Android phone. I've been an Android user. I've been an Android user for over a year at a time. And I eventually settled and became an iOS developer. And so I pretty much had to stop using Android phones because it was kind of like, well, I should dog food the thing that I build, right? So I got to this point where I would get text messages. Most everybody I know is an iPhone user. But then I'd get that one oddball, that one person that I'd send a text message to for the first time. And my message to them would show up as green. And I would know that they were different than I am. And it invariably led to me making predictions about that person based on one thing and one thing only, which is the color of my message to them. If they were blue, they were an iPhone user. I didn't even think about it. But if they were green, which most people are not green for me, if they were green, I wondered why they were green. Maybe they were green because, Android phones are generally more budget. Maybe they were having budget problems, and so they had to settle on an Android budget phone. Maybe that's why they're green. Maybe, oh my God, is my friend having money problems? Like, oh, this is awful, this is terrible. I want to think that everybody's successful, but maybe there's a money problem here. And slowly but surely, this bias against people that were not using iPhones in iMessage crept into my existence. And it's really insidious. It's one of those things where it's like, until you really stop to analyze it, you don't know that it's there, and it shapes your interactions with other people. And so, here we have this message with my brother, and my brother is not having money problems. He happens to really like Android, and that's why he rocks an Android phone, which is a perfectly acceptable answer because Android and iOS are no better than each other. And yet, whenever I talk to someone new over text message and my messages to them pop up as green, I wonder, is there a problem there? Why are they using Android? Maybe they decided that they don't like Apple. Maybe they're just not as cool as the rest of my friends. And these biases that we have creep into everything we do. I have exposed that I am a terrible person, specifically for one thing for you, the viewer, which is that each of us carries unknown, inherent biases in the way that we think. And they're insidious. You don't even know that they're there until you have a moment of reflection where it's like, why do I think that my friend is having money problems just because they have an Android phone? Like, That's ridiculous. But there it is. That's what made its way into my thinking. Similarly, in our society, and probably all societies, all humans, anything that is different than than the thing that we know ourselves, is treated with a presupposed conclusion. And that presupposed conclusion may or may not be wrong, but it is completely and totally 100% based on a difference between you and that other person. Now, it doesn't have to be as deep as race. Maybe it's just that someone else uses profane language more than you do, and you pretty much assume that they're a sinner going to hell. Or maybe it's that the other person that you're talking to has really nice shoes and wears nice shoes all the time, and you wear flip-flops like I do, and you think, gosh, man, it's hard to be stuck up, isn't it? It's very uncomfortable too. Whereas maybe they just like nice shoes, or they actually have better fashion sense than you do. These biases that are in our thinking, that are in our understanding of the world, help us make decisions quickly. But they also can cripple us when it comes to making important decisions if you don't know that they are there. So, once again, I fully acknowledge I am a terrible, horrible, awful person for drawing conclusions about my friends and the people around me based on the color of my text messages to them. But I guarantee that every single one of you has these unknown biases somewhere deep down within their souls, and you may not even know that they're there, and you should stop for a minute and you should think, where are these biases? If you can find those biases, you can do something to combat against them. However, if you don't know that they're there, if you never even stop to think that there might be a bias in your soul, then what are you going to do about it? Anyways, my name's Mike. This has been a vlog for the day, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I'll talk to you later. Bye.